Hello, and welcome to the Priorities Now podcast series. I'm Phil Soper, Chief Commercial Officer for HPE Canada. On our previous podcast, we spoke to Curtis Dery, Vice President of Sales and Strategy for Powerland, and Mike Hilton, the Vice President and GM of HPE Canada, about why more and more organizations are choosing to leverage consumption-based models over traditional IT. Today, Curtis and Mike have joined us once again to talk a little further about some of the real-life workload applications that they're seeing among Canadian organizations. Curtis, Mike, welcome back.
Thanks for having us, Phil.
You're welcome. Curtis, last time we talked about why organizations are looking to consumption-based models. Can you tell us a bit about how you brought this to life?
With the trends and obviously COVID hitting, it forced people to look at IT from a different perspective, right? They had to make decisions quicker, be nimble and agile. And when we looked at what Greenlake brought to those businesses by having that public cloud feel, but on-prem to provide that better kind of total cost of ownership and predictability from a cost model, we were able to kind of start to choose those customers that would look at the advantages of this type of infrastructure as a service on-prem. And so it's kind of been exciting times as we've been winding down our year end and your guys' year end and looking at the market and the opportunities that are coming forth with HPE and Greenlake.
Awesome. Mike, what do you think?
We're really seeing customers wanting to have this conversation. It's very top of mind for organizations from a cash perspective, from an agility perspective, as Curtis mentioned, and really just wanting to redefine how they operate their IT organization. And that's become a very exciting conversation for us.
No kidding. And Mike, how do you see the next phase of the journey to hybrid cloud?
And that's the key message is it is a journey, but it's not a destination, as we like to say at HPE, but it is a journey. It is about making a transition. Everything is tied into that concept of transformation. One of the key areas of transformation has been application modernization. That's been a core tenet of the hyperscale cloud or public cloud migration. And one of the things that's really driving this next phase is the work that's going on in containerization. As people take advantage of that application modernization and move to containerization, instead of this concept of cloud native, container native is becoming the real quote unquote buzzword, if you will, in the marketplace. And this idea of being able to distribute my application, those components of the application, or when the application needs to be close to the end user or close to the data, I can run that in my data center or a private cloud environment. I can then run components or pieces of the application in a hyperscale cloud. And I'm also not dependent on a particular or tied to a particular hyperscale cloud provider. So I can move from Azure to AWS to Google. So containerization really liberates the customer's application. So that's a big trend. And again, that will really drive hybridization because now I've got the flexibility and the agility to move where I need to. The other big one is what I call data lifecycle management. So it's not about putting all your data in one place. We know that there's a business advantage to some forms of data being in hyperscale cloud, but there's also a business slash financial or operational advantage to the data being closer to either its source or where it's operationally used. So that's where you get this concept of the edge or edge clouds, the private cloud or core, if you will, in the business, and then obviously the hyperscale cloud and managing the data lifecycle across that, where I need my data in some locations to train AI models or ML models. I need some of my data just to be used to make decisions, and I need some for archival purposes and being able to manage it across all that. The other big piece of hybrid that we're seeing now is this whole area of what some people refer to as repatriation. People pushed very aggressively to get to the cloud, if you will. In that sense, they were referring to the public cloud or hyperscale cloud. And now they're recognizing that, oh, we didn't do the right assessments, or it's not all workloads are suited. Clearly, there's some workloads that are, but not all workloads are suited. So we need to bring them back somewhere. And if I made a big commitment to get out of the data center business, where do I bring them back to? And so developing that hybrid strategy in private cloud, and that's where partnerships with companies like Equinix are really starting to become an important part of that hybrid journey, because they're allowing people to have a choice without having to build their own data center infrastructure. So it's very exciting to watch this transformation as it unfolds.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the landscape changed recently, just at the end of September when Equinix announced the acquisitions of all of Bell's data centers in the country. It's not only important just because of the assets of the buildings, but this is a true on-ramp to consume hybrid cloud. And so it was a very exciting opportunity that I heard from our perspective and how we're going to market and how it aligns with HP. And it does that amongst a few different ways, right? So not only is it the ability to provide infrastructure as a service managed by HP within an Equinix data center for our customers, but then to give that flexibility and agility to consume all the different types of platforms at cloud, but also be able to de-risk it from a connectivity perspective, a security perspective. There's so many different benefits that this is going to provide on customers having a true beneficial digital cloud journey. With that opportunity, that's what we're helping our customers kind of educate on from the landscape that has changed because of that, because that's 26 data centers in the country. And so there's going to be an on-ramp to the cloud in almost every province for every customer to look at. You know, to echo what Mike was saying along that journey with infrastructure as a service, your next step is then going to be containerization, be able to take those platforms and move them in and out of the cloud, and then be able to do that with interconnection architecture with Equinix provides that whole entire journey for that customer. So yeah, we're definitely excited about the partnership and the opportunity that's in front of us.
Hey, Mike, anything to add?
As Curtis said, the relationship between the three of us, Powerland, Equinix, and HPE, is very powerful. And we have a very solid relationship on our as-a-service offerings with Equinix, the ability to actually put Equinix on our paper, but also partner with another organization to do that. And the ability to, as Curtis said, the real key is if you're building a hybrid strategy, having a partner that has that very low latency, high bandwidth pipe into the hyperscale cloud from your private cloud environment creates a much more robust ecosystem between the private cloud and the public cloud.
Okay, thank you. Curtis, we've talked a lot about the impact on the IT organization, but what's the impact on the business side of the organization?
First and foremost, the impact that I've seen firsthand from our clients going with Greenlake is to be able to expedite projects. So no longer is the cycle of having to go to procurement, go to a tender process and wait for all those timelines to then get awarded, ordered, and then get ready to start to execute. Now it is just pay as you grow, right? And as you land and expand with the Greenlake model, you can then exponentially grow those projects by just being able to forecast, what you're looking at from an infrastructure perspective and being prepared to keep growing out with that business model. That'd be the first and foremost benefit that we've seen firsthand with our clients.
And that's a great point. And in our next episode, we'll be hearing directly from a Powerland HPE Greenlake customer to talk about their firsthand experience. Mike, Curtis, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Phil.
And thank you to our audience for listening. If you want to learn more, drop your information into the landing page where this podcast is hosted, or send a quick note to HPE Greenlake at powerland.ca. That's HPE Greenlake at powerland.ca. Thanks once again for listening.
Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe for more videos, and remember to hit the notification button to get the latest videos from Powerland when they come out. Follow us on social media at Powerland_CA on Twitter, Powerland Canada on LinkedIn, and Powerland CA on Facebook to hear about the latest and greatest in IT solutions.